Welcome to Married to Movies. Industry insiders John Russell and Tracy Kring live and work happily in cinematrimony. They're sharing behind-the-scenes adventures of writing, producing, and appreciating films.
Good morning, babe.
Good morning, babe.
Good morning.
Say babe.
Good morning, babe.
There you go.
Yay.
Now we're talking. That was an intro. Done perfectly.
We have with us this morning our niece, Izzy.
Hi, Izzy. Yay! Applause! Right now, just imagine me like Kermit the Frog. The arms are flapping.
She is also the announcer voice that you've been listening to on every episode.
Welcome.
She has a background in radio.
It's easy to become romantic about movies. Say it so they can hear it.
It's easy to become romantic about movies.
Yeah, that's it.
Yay.
That's me.
That's what we really needed her for. Go, now leave us.
Leaving sound effects.
We picked her up at JFK last night, brought her here.
Which officially makes you American heroes.
It's such a joy to go to JFK. I just want to say.
But we get rid of her tonight because she's going to London.
I'm going to Europe. I'm backpacking for 6 weeks. My whole life has led up to this moment.
Whoa. No pressure.
No pressure. No kidding.
Exactly.
Wish
This
me
whole
luck.
backpacking through Europe thing better pay off.
This is a...
It better not be like one of those, look,
The thing that I miss most about college is the dorm experience and being around people my own age, living with them, experiencing the same culture and doing things together. I really miss that because I'm still living in my college town and everybody is 18 to 22 and being 24 makes me feel like I'm
grandma.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like you're George Bailey and Harry Bailey just came back. And you're going to the prom. Right?
They all are COVID high schoolers coming into college.
Right.
So I'm like George Bailey, and I don't get any of the memes. Like I'm on a different level than them.
Okay, now explain this to me. Because Tracy was telling me about some very young people that she knows that seem to be social media Luddites.
Tell me what a Luddite is.
Like, they avoid it.
Yeah, a Luddite is like, it's used basically as someone who doesn't understand technology.
They choose to, reject technology.
I'm the only person I know who isn't, like, actively doesn't use social media on purpose.
I feel like my nieces and nephews just know. It's like coded in already, all of the ins and outs. And I've had to catch up. I've had to try to educate myself.
My personal opinion about social media as a part of the guinea pig generation is that it can be more damaging than good, just because of the endless scroll nature, to where it never stops. So I think if you don't know how to put a link on your Instagram, I think that's okay.
Okay.
And it's interesting because the people coming up in this generation, like I said, they're coming out of a pandemic high school experience. Because if you couldn't use technology, you failed your classes.
You wouldn't be in class. Okay.
Yeah. My last year in college was totally virtual. And I was in the dorms. And a lot of my time was spent helping people figure out the fucking Zoom thing. Like, pardon my French, sorry.
No, you're fine.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Like trying to figure out how to build connection via Zoom. And we kind of figured it out.
I love Rose Byrne.
Oh, God. Rose Byrne is a joy.
We just finished Platonic.
Platonic was such a great show.
Yeah.
Just a lovely little diamond of a show where it didn't go off into any directions
And
that were like...
Seth Rogen was like the...
It never didn't become platonic. That was the whole thing.
Right. Seth Rogen was the least Rogen-y. He wasn't like at that like where he half screams every line level.
And he
He
was.
does that.
No, and he really tapped into that, like, okay, I'm in my mid-30s. I'm concerned about my career. I'm concerned about being good at what I'm doing. But I'm also trying to hold on to my ideals.
I just have to say the blueberries. So
What about the blueberries?
How do you eat blueberries?
Too much risk.
Well, what about blueberries?
is the risk?
What's the issue with
Are
blueberries?
you gonna have the shits?
No, about 1 in 3 is the worst blueberry you've ever tasted.
Oh yeah.
Oh, try 3 blueberries and see what
Okay.
happens.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
blueberry-
first of all, she's having to poke it with a fork,
Well,
which is a weird way.
I'm not an animal. Blueberry.
I don't just eat them with my
I'm
muzzle.
I'm not an animal.
Here, let me just pick them up with
Just
my
imagining
tongue.
the elephant man just with a handful of blueberries.
I'm not an animal.
He can't even get them up because his fingers are all fused together, and he's.
Well, I would say
You got the image. You got the image of the
there.
elephant man.
I always eat at least 3 blueberries. We buy them, they go bad, they get like, I don't know, wet and limp. And
These are good though.
they almost make me gag when I eat them.
Okay, well, we shouldn't buy them then.
I don't know if they taste like anything. I think
That's not true.
no,
they do taste
I'm like
things.
spoiled by blueberry flavored things.
Totally.
These-
I feel exactly the same way.
These don't taste like blueberry muffins.
You're saying, why aren't these in Pop-Tarts?
No, like, why doesn't this taste like a blueberry that I think a blueberry tastes like? These, like, there's so many artificial flavorings that are giving you blueberry, and they have nothing to do with blueberry.
I think they're good blueberries. I think they are sweet. If somebody put a mask on you, which, hot.
I
Exactly.
wouldn't have any idea.
Would you
what
have
I was
any idea
eating.
what it was?
I would say, why have you given me this ball of dirt?
Oh, okay. All right, my hypothesis was slightly off. I was voting 33% of blueberries are bad. My first 3 were great. Fourth one,
Okay, so it's a quarter.
it's 25%.
Okay, so
far.
by that logic, if you only eat 3 at a time, you should be fine.
That's sound.
See, I didn't even go to college, and I came up with that. That was some like calculus shit right there,
I'm
man.
sure-
That was string theory.
I'm sure
folks.
they're full of antioxidants or something, but I don't know if blueberries are worth it.
Aren't blueberries like remember berries on South Park?
I love
Berries.
saying remember berries.
Oh,
though.
remember
berries. Remember racism. They took over the country. Remember berries were like they drove a car into the White House.
They certainly took over the film industry.
Who was it? Francis Ford Coppola. Mm-hmm. So he says that.
Is he the one that thinks JFK didn't happen?
No. Okay, that's Oliver Stone.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, and anybody who can read. Just kidding.
Okay. So Francis Ford Coppola, talking about the Barbenheimer saga and the fact that it's become a moment in history, said that this could be the mark of a new golden age of cinema where people have decided to reject IP and they want original content. I think he's full of shit, but I love me some Francis Ford Coppola, and I do appreciate what he's saying.
I don't know if it's IP, but I think we have gotten, obviously everybody thinks we've gotten to a sequel rut. Mm-hmm. Like there's sequel fatigue, for sure. Like the Marvel movies have been doing consistently worse. They've also been consistently worse. Like they've just
Really bad.
they've just gotten really bad. Top Gun Maverick. Let's list some other things.
I actually watched. I watched
He
Secret
moves
Invasion.
on.
I watched
You're
Secret
over.
Invasion. All right.
Secret Invasion, yes.
Yes, I watched Secret Invasion. There were parts of it that I were like, "Holy shit, this is fantastic. This is great. This is like Samuel L. Jackson throwing fastballs, talking about very big ideas." And then at the end, it just became Dragon Ball Z.
I don't know enough about Dragon Ball Z to know what
You know,
mean.
with the guys throwing fire at each other in the middle of the sky.
The kind of like, I throw red light at you, and you're throwing purple light at me, and that's a fight scene.
Exactly. And buildings explode. Yes.
Yeah, not ideal. Not super good.
They were trying to tell a story, and they were trying to tell it in 5 episodes.
Of the scroll.
Yes, the
thing.
Skrulls and the Secret Invasion, and the idea that there could be 1 million aliens on this
Did they
Earth, and we
base
don't
this-
know it. That is terrifying.
Did they base this on real life?
Oh God, no! Do not talk about that. No.
They're-
The UAFs, the USOs.
The government says
The-
they're
There's no-
scrolls.
The
There's no such thing as a UAF.
Wait,
It's
not
a UAP.
UAP.
It's a phenomenon.
Okay, see, when you say USO, I just think of
Submersible
some
objects.
lady who's
The USO.
in a nurse's outfit. Here's some candy for
I'm
you before you
entertaining
get
the
blown up in
troops.
Normandy.
It's a buggy wuggy beautiful boy coming baby.
Yeah, no, not that USO.
That's not the
unidentified
USO. Okay.
submersible objects.
Exactly.
Oh.
Boy, you're gonna okay. So if we go to old folks' homes, we're really going to confuse people,
Right.
If we start talking about those USOs and
Just say fish aliens.
aliens.
Hey, it's the abyss. it's like the abyss.
Totally.
Tracy, we need to make Phalian t-shirts.
I love the movie The
It's gonna
Abyss.
catch on.
Is that going to count?
Stop trying to make Phalian happen.
Oh, Phalian is happening. Phalian is definitely happening.
Fishalian.
Alien-ish.
Ooh. I love her music.
We have Billie Eilish? Okay. I was going to go with Jennifer Garner was great in Alias.
I don't get that one.
Alias.
Alias.
Okay.
Okay.
See, okay. I
Every-
totally went over my audience's head there.
Every movie you guys have mentioned so far, I don't know what the fuck
That's
you're talking
fine.
about.
That's fine.
And I
You're
hope,
fine.
I hope that's okay. Thank you.
Yesterday, I got a text message from the guy who's doing our sound,
Yes.
our post-production sound on Wheelies.
Wheelies Incorporated.
It was really cool because he said I'd shared the rough cut with him, to give me a quote. Just wanted to let you know that this, the film is at a completely different place than it was the first time I watched it. And you did an amazing job bringing it all together.
Now, was he aware of the fact that some of the people who had watched the original rough cut had issue with it?
No.
He wasn't.
No. Most of the time, sound guys don't really talk about if they even like your film or not. They're just like, I'm doing my job.
People do not understand what a rough cut is.
Well, this is so...
Or of anything.
Fair.
As an editor, I have seen a lot of reactions to rough cuts. And I will say most of the time, people are baby back bitches when they see
I want
their
my
rough
baby
cut.
back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, bitch.
And
How do
I
you mean?
warn people, I'll say, look, this is the worst your film is ever going to look.
Right.
Right now. Because, if you're doing a narrative, then, you're trying to represent the entire script. You're trying to get all the scenes and lines in there. Because, you need to see the whole thing put together to understand what's working, what's not, what needs to change. But, in a documentary, sometimes it will be like, whoa, that just went nowhere. Or, the flow may be so weird. As you watch, you don't really realize it in assembly.
It is your film wet and naked looking in a unfoggy mirror coming out of the shower.
Oh, yeah, the fog is not on the mirror.
Right. You're looking right at it.
You're
You're
looking
like,
right at
There you are. There it is.
slippery wet body.
In every way.
Assuming everybody has body shame issues, like we do, obviously.
Vulnerable, scared.
What? I've seen so many people have really depressive episodes. It's the first time they're faced with everything that they thought the movie was going to be that it isn't.
Wow.
And a good rough cut should make bad things obvious.
Right.
I think that's a really good rough cut.
Oh, interesting.
All of the cream will float to the top, and then we will see all the dregs.
And you'll also see what you really need. Like, Jesus, does this need music?
Or oh yeah, we're gonna need so much sound work or whatever. Also, what happens when you get your sound back, that's been mixed and mastered, and everybody's level, at times we had 6 to 8 people speaking it in scenes.
Wow.
Whenever you get the sound back is one of the most exciting moments in a cut.
Wow.
Because you literally pop that track on and it's a movie. It just became a movie.
Right.
It's so exciting.
And don't even try to give anybody a rough cut without, music on it.
People
I mean-
have so little imagination that you really, people use temp tracks and stuff like that. I have to do that all the time. To hand them something without any music on it would just be editing suicide. I really don't even hand in things that don't have some color grading on them because that's suicide too.
Right, because that's the first thing that they'll say. Then they'll miss all the other stuff. They'll be like, is it gonna be this ugly?
Well, it's like, that scene was really dark. Yeah, no duh. You're not going to color grade a rough cut fully. Now that we've carved everything out of the footage, this is what we have.
It's almost like, okay, now we get to direct the movie.
Thanks to our sponsor, Movie Mode Merch, the graphic t-shirt store to outfit you for your next film set. Be the person wearing the t-shirt everyone asks, hey, where'd you get that shirt? Cast and crew alike love these inside jokes and filmmaking-inspired designs. Check them out on Insta at Movie Mode Merch.
Is it the same way with, you're in your world where you're editing like podcasts and things like that? Are there rough cuts?
Yes. In my podcasting world, it is the one that I do is so corporate. Like, they're very concerned about it being absolutely perfect, and it has to have 3 levels of administrative eyes on it. Like, so I spend a lot of time transcribing.
That sounds like Cthulhu.
Interesting.
3 levels of eyes are on your podcast. Look into him in despair.
So I spend a lot of time just transcribing, adding ums and and rights so that they can highlight them in a Word document and then email it to their higher up, and they can highlight things to remove in the Word document, and then I remove those things that they highlighted.
So you add them back because when Adobe transcribes it, it cuts them out.
Yep, they cut out the ums usually, but it's also so that they can look at it and make sure the content is right, that it represents the institute correctly.
They don't want to see it edited the way you edit it. They want to see it in its raw form.
Yeah, they listen to it in its raw form, they add their notes on the transcript, and I use those notes to edit.
But you don't even rough cut, you do a paper cut. You're really doing all your roughs in paper.
Very much, very much. So I send them like, okay, this is the recording. Like, I'll cut off the beginning, like, hey, me talking about the rules, like, hey, don't interrupt each other, and stop and start over if you need to. And then the end where they're like, whew, thank God that's over, and I send them that, the chopped bit.
Right. Like we break every rule here. We talk over each other.
We do not care. No, we don't care.
It's all about talking over each other.
That's the joy, man. That's the joy.
If you want to talk, you gotta earn it.
That's right. Life's rough. Wear a cup.
Also, I thought that you saying rough cuts make bad things obvious would make a good poster
Oh, nice.
for like an editing room.
Yes, I'll make a t-shirt.
Yay!
I had something kind of interesting happen to me where I had a gig that was sort of floating in the ether for quite a while. And it seemed like it was going to... I had been told really that, this is happening. You're going to be our guy, blah, blah, blah. Anytime that I tried to pin it down, get a deal memo or something like that, nothing would really happen.
That's a bad sign.
That's a very, very bad sign. I finally just was like, okay, let me pop this here. Can you send me a deal memo, or is this actually happening? And he was like, oh, no. I only was going to be able to do that if I had the money to do it. You should go and, make money somewhere else because, you deserve that.
Oh, we can't afford you.
Yes,
It's
right.
like the last bastion of a scoundrel.
The last bastion of the scoundrel. What I was a little bit frustrated by was myself, which was that I had been living in delusion. All the indicators were telling me, nope, this isn't going to happen. But still, when the balloon got popped, it still stung. Why is it still, kind of like feel like rejection when this has been drug out over months?
I had the exact same situation happen yesterday. I think we both decided to pop balloons yesterday. I don't like saying popping zits. I had a project where I was helping them, like, with trailers and crowdfunding things. But we had never really talked about me actually editing the film. And I knew that, I know that. So, but I had about 30% hope, that we worked really well together and I did a great job. It was like really, really extolled to everyone.
Right.
What a great job I was doing. I thought, well, there's probably like a 30% chance that I might get
And
this
you
job.
love the project.
Yeah, I love the project.
Right.
I just kind of popped that balloon and straight out asked. And it was like, well, we may be looking for somebody else, and it could be anything, especially being a female editor. It could be, I get a lot of the time like, oh, we're looking for like an editor with a name that has worked with studios or whatever. Those people go and hire those people and they pay them a lot of money and it does nothing for the project because nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit who edited it. They really don't.
Right.
Like, you should absolutely do that, but spend it on like an actor.
Yeah.
Or spend it on something that's on screen. I think those are really great decisions to make. Also, as an editor, it's difficult to even want to promote, let's say, a film that you've edited on, because you're really going to get judged on if the movie's good. Not what shit you were handed that you pulled off and it is a movie. Like, let's say I was some Academy Award winning editor and I finished your film that you made for, $125,000. Chances are it's not going to be up for an Academy Award. Chances are I'm not going to want to show people your $125,000 movie and say I did it. It's like, what? I'm going to show it to my agent and say, look at this. And they're going to be like, yeah, it's not a great film. It's not going to get a release. It's not going to go theatrical. It's not helping your career. It was just money, dude.
You want an artist is what you want. In every aspect at every level of filmmaking, you want a different artist.
Right.
You don't want just somebody who is going to be a rubber stamp of, this is what the producer wants or this is what the director wants. I forget who Martin Scorsese's editor is, but she really understands him. And basically he kind of depends on her.
Thelma.
Yeah, Thelma. He depends on her. It's like she is looking for the performance. That's the whole thing with her. That's why you watch a Martin Scorsese film sometimes and it'll be like, what the fuck was that edit? Because that's not what's important to her.
Yeah, no, as an editor, I sometimes feel sorry for her watching movies like The Wolf of Wall Street, where the waiters keep falling off the edge of the building. Because when they cut to the other angle,
And
the
Matthew
waiter doesn't walk
McConaughey
through.
scenes. Yeah.
The waiter will start and walk by Matthew McConaughey, cut to the other angle of Leonardo where the waiter should be walking through, and they don't. They just fell off the side of the building.
Oh, that's such a curse to have an eye for that.
Yeah.
That must be so annoying.
Especially in that scene, because they did it so many times. There were so many like ad-lib moments
That whole scene was ad-lib.
Yeah,
Right, the whole...
Yeah, the whole thing
Banging
with
them.
him with the ape thing and all that. That whole idea of the scene didn't exist.
But I know that his editor knows that the waiter with a tray just fell off the side of the building and did not
sure.
make it into the other shot. But she is told not to care.
Yeah, absolutely.
So even that's the problem. An editor may be is overruled.
But people know that scene for that Matthew McConaughey moment. That's what they know the scene for.
Well,
nobody knows the scene as how many times did that waiter fall off the side of the building?
Oh, so many times, like 10, like 10.
And that's to your point of like nobody cares who edited it because the layman won't notice those kinds of things. Like there was a lot of talk about the editing in Bohemian Rhapsody, and I think the only reason people even noticed it was because somebody posted a video where there was a lot of cuts, and so all of a sudden everybody's talking about the editing, but it's not something people talk about.
I feel like the editing of Bohemian Rhapsody was probably salvaged in that film. Probably.
Interesting.
Because there were some scenes I was just like, I feel like this was shot so weirdly. And I think that scene at the table was shot weirdly, where some people couldn't be there and they had to reshoot it and it was green screen and it looked really trash. But I mean, the editor tried to pull it off. And that's the thing. That's why you're not necessarily going to want everybody to watch your last film, because it's not like if I had the dream footage and I had all of my talent and abilities brought to the table and not told what to do, not told to make bad decisions. Because sometimes you just have to let them have their bad decision, because it's their film.
Yeah.
you're just like, okay, well, I wouldn't do it that way, but that's cool. We can do it that way. How many people of color were in Oppenheimer?
Well, Oppenheimer takes place in America.
Yes.
In the 1930s.
Right.
Yeah.
On a U.S. military
And there were
project.
very few women and very few people of color.
Okay,
back then.
now I did see something. That I think.
No, that's not true.
No. I did see something that I thought was very interesting, and it's a little bit. It's not really a backlash against Oppenheimer, but basically these people from New Mexico telling stories about how the whole area was cleared out,
Yep.
and that people were
sure.
irradiated.
Yeah.
And that the people that were cleared out were then brought into work. They were not given suits when the white people were given suits, and they all died of cancer. And that probably should have been part of the Oppenheimer movie.
There is one mention of the crimes against Native Americans related to the Manhattan Project, where Oppenheimer says, that basically, I think Truman says, like, what should we do with the land then? And Oppenheimer's like, give it back to the Indians.
Great.
But that's pretty much it, which is why I'm excited for Killers of the Flower Moon.
Right.
I'm excited for a project that actually talks about the thing that we don't talk about, you know.
Which is the ongoing genocide of anyone that's not white in this country.
Native Americans in particular are
Right.
Indigenous people.
Right.
Yes, thank you.
Right.
I don't like Native American anymore.
No, you're absolutely right.
Native has a negative connotation.
And so does American.
Well, they're not Americans.
Yeah, they're not American. Right.
Like,
Right, 'cause-
like they were here before we called this anything.
before
it was
Amerigo.
Turtle Island.
Amerigo Vespucci.
And
which is
before
what America stands for.
and before we called them Indians because we thought we were in India.
Oh God.
It's just so stupid.
So cringe.
Yeah, I
So
can't.
cringe of him.
I insist on calling them indigenous. I like in like Alaska or like Aboriginal, like coming from Australia. In other countries or not like Alaska's another country, I know that, but other places they will actually call them indigenous people because they're indigenous to that as far back as we go. So
I just want to point out that there's no reason for you to feel insecure. At no point did I think that you thought Alaska was another country.
okay,
You're
good.
done. You're all good. I know other countries, other colonizer states, Australia,
Yeah,
New Zealand.
yeah.
They're
All of them.
they're like Canada. Even they're all a lot better at acknowledging indigenous
Yeah.
people's rights and cultures than
And
we are.
the fact that like the conference that we're doing right now is on stolen land, and we acknowledge that. You know, there are like a lot of events starting to give
So,
this speech.
the land acknowledgement.
The
is
land
what you're talking
acknowledgement,
about.
yeah. Which I really appreciate.
I think it's cool because I never know whose land we're on. You know, like in Tallahassee, I go to FSU, and we are the Seminoles,
Right.
Which, given the American history of genocide, it's
Meaning
kind of
that
like,
they are important. They're
no,
first.
not Seminole,
They're-
and
no-
not Seminole fluid.
Oh,
but actually,
Seminoles.
That I would love to see. They're the
and-
Seminole Fluid football team.
Ew.
I'd love to see the helmet.
But, however, despite the fact that we are the Seminole tribe is our mascot, which what I was saying is with our history of genocide, it's kind of like the Nazis having a football team and the mascot is like one of the tribes of Israel. Like it's not
Right.
cool.
No, it's not. No,
It's not cool.
That would not be cool, folks.
No, we pay the Seminoles a little bit, but like when Chief Osceola comes out in the middle of the football field at the beginning of every game, like that's a white guy in red face. Like that is
definitely.
that is
Oh my
not.
God, yes.
And we are all told that it's like that's a real Seminole like dressing up in traditional
No
headgear.
way.
It is not. It
It's
has never
a
been.
white dude.
We still don't do a land acknowledgement. Like there's no, despite Seminoles being such a core part of our academic identity, it's not mentioned. It's
Right.
not acknowledged. We don't appreciate the Seminoles. We don't learn anything about them. I don't know anything. About
You
the Seminole tribe.
and I can guarantee you their name wasn't even Seminole. That was how.
Well, actually, what I learned in American history was most native tribe names are like what the colonizers,
Right.
the settlers,
Mispronounced.
thought they were
Thought they
saying
were
the
saying.
tribe was. So, like, Seminole might mean like just hello,
Right.
in like that
Right.
Their
tribe
actual.
language.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think there's a way that you can skip over the disappointed part, the sting of the rejection of the job, or is that just part of it?
You know, there's a lot of things that we're all delusional about in our lives. When you hit that feeling, you know, you were having yesterday of just like real disappointment, don't run away from it. Don't push it down. Dig into it and see, what was it giving you? What was that hope giving you?
Well, hope deferred maketh the heart sick.
Go ahead and pop those balloons or zits. Pop them and pop them early. If you had pushed the deal memo harder, then it would have been very obvious. They would have to get transparent with you. And I think also when we're in employment situations, to try to be as transparent as possible.
Jobs come and go. And I think probably when I'm disappointed about not getting a job, it's because I'm in a scarcity mindset. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking about, I'm never going to get a job again. This is about me, this is personal, this is because I didn't do a good enough job or I did something wrong. And in reality, it's just time to look for another one. It's just an opportunity to look for another one. Those dates aren't used anymore. What else could I possibly be doing with that time?
Yeah.
So it is disappointing. It hurts, it stings. Use the sting for your art.
If you were a zit and we popped you, puns would come out.
Memes and puns and yes, exactly.
I mean, it's not that they're good.
No.
It's not high quality.
No, absolutely not. No.
But in the artist's
I
way,
promise no quality.
she says the thing, metabolize pain as energy. Mm-hmm. And I loved that so much because often we are in control on, will I allow this to cause me pain or not? You know, like, yes, that hurt because it broke up the delusion you were having, the delusion that things were fine and you were going to be doing a thing, and that pain you have to metabolize into energy.
I'm so sorry.
You are not hired.
Fine.
I'm just
That's
being
fine.
very
Okay,
transparent.
that's fine.
I'm
That's
firing
fine.
you both.
They all
I
can't
can't
be gold.
afford you.
They all can't be gold.
Thank you for popping that balloon early.
Yep,
Thank
that's
you.
it.
I appreciate. There is white ooze all over the microphone.
Oops, I forgot to hit record.
No!
It's hard not to get romantic about movies. Thanks for listening to Married to Movies. John and Tracy will meet you for breakfast tomorrow. Thanks to our sponsor, Movie Mode Merch, comfortable graphic tees made by and for awesome filmmakers to wear on set and off. Check them out on Insta at Movie Mode Merch.